Hi Virgo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your May 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and I also pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. So let's do that. Okay. So we have Scorpio, which is your third house of communication. Mercury actually will go retrograde at the very end of May, so it's going to be in shadow starting around the middle of May. So there could be, some communication issues there. We have the South Node, which is actually in Sagittarius, which is your fourth house of home, family, roots. And we have 12, which is the 12th house, which for you guys is Leo. So, nothing really going on there astrologically speaking, but we'll keep that in mind as we go along. All right, so starting with the main situation position, we have the Sun. So this is an energy that represents light, playfulness, just feeling good in general, a lot of vitality, expansive energy. So this is the energy now, I'm not going to dwell on this for too long because given the challenge card, it looks like you guys probably aren't feeling this way just yet. I feel like this is more of possibly the energy will shift into this for you guys. And, to be fair, I mean, you've had Aries season going on, and that's your 8th house, so that could be a bit, of a heavier energy. You have Mars in your 10th house at the time of recording this, and when we are officially in May, it's actually going to move out of there into your 11th house. Had the North Node there, so, obviously you have Jupiter and Saturn in your 6th house, so, it could be some pretty heavy energies around, but I feel like as we move into Taurus season, that's a 9th house energy, going to feel a lot more light and playful in that regard, and then, like I said, having Mars moving out of your 10th as well could also expand the energies for you guys a bit. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the 9 of Swords. So this is actually Gemini energy, which for you guys is your 10th house of career and social status. And like I was just saying, we have Mars in the North Node there. So could just be saying that you guys might have had a lot of work that you needed to do, basically, or at least you felt like you had to get these things done, right? And this could just be saying that, I'm almost reading this as the opposite, where this is the challenge card and this is the main situation. I'm feeling it as the opposite. I feel like this is where you guys already are for the most part, and the challenge is for you guys to embrace this energy, to embrace the more light and playful energy, to try not to overthink things. And like I said, we just went through the list of the transits that would explain why you could be feeling that way. And also, like I said, as we move through Taurus season, you should feel some of those energies at least lighten up some. Even, Jupiter is going to move out of your 6th house and into your 7th house in May too for a bit. So, if you feel like there's just been too much emphasis on your work, you should be starting to feel that lighten up for you guys in May. Foundation position, we have the 8 of Swords, so more Gemini energy here. Now, at least on the plus side, we could say, if nothing else, looks like the blindfolds are off now, right? So, hey, to be fair, maybe that's why the Sun is showing up as a challenge for you guys. Maybe you've been blindfolded for so long, you actually removed that blindfold, and now you're getting blinded by the Sun, right? So, could just be saying that you guys might have really been stuck in your head around a certain situation, maybe having a bit of a pessimistic viewpoint toward that situation, and now, okay, you removed the blindfold, you see things from a different perspective, things are brighter than you thought, right? But now you're still stuck with that, basically possibly being upset with yourselves for like, okay, why didn't I see it this way sooner, right? So that's what I'm seeing there. In the past position, we have the Knight of Cups. So this is actually Pisces energy here. So for some of you, this could be going back to Pisces season, maybe something happened around that time that, maybe it was coming forward to you in a positive way. And like I said, maybe you guys were just so heavily focused on other things that you couldn't see it for what it was at the time. That's one way it could be playing out. For some of you, this might have actually been an offer that you might have extended to someone, and again, I feel like you guys were just not seeing things from a brighter perspective, overthinking things. So could just be saying that that was what was going on there. In the present position, we have the High Priestess and the Nine of Wands. So, seeing these two cards together, usually I view this as Pisces energy as well. But beyond that, seeing the Nine of Wands, and this actually is Sagittarius energy, which is where that South Node is. So, could just be saying that you might be struggling a bit, where on the one hand, intuitively you might feel a certain thing, right? But maybe just these things that have been ingrained in you from your early upbringing might be holding you back in a certain way, So, seeing these two cards together, I feel like this is saying you might really want to trust your intuition this month. See if anything else comes to mind with that combination. And I mean, we do see, if we look at his glance, he's looking toward the past as well. So, I feel like this is saying that there's some kind of wounding that you've had for a while. Intuitively, I feel like you have what it takes to move past it, but for whatever reason, there could be a little reluctance to do so. And like I said, South Node moving through the fourth, asking you to let some things go, right, that you might have held on to for a really long time. And, that easier said than done, right? But I feel like that's the energy you guys are in right now. So yeah, I mean, as I'm going through this, it does feel like it's a bit of heavy energy, but seeing the sun in the main situation and these cards we're about to talk about looks like a positive overall. So I feel like this is energy you're going to be shifting out of. In the near future position, we have the Star, which is the major arcana card for Aquarius. Your sixth house, we mentioned the energies going on there, and the World. So, I mean, two of the more positive cards you could get. Now, the Star, of course, is the card that comes after the Tower. So, especially if you guys have gone through a Tower moment, right? Maybe in the process of shedding some of those things, some of those fourth house things that you've held on to for a long time. It could have felt like a Tower moment, right? Like, what now? So, that could be part of what you guys are feeling. But seeing the Star card here, for one, usually I always say that because it is after the Tower, I view it as the course correction. It's a dissolution of ego, moving forward, and being on the right path. But again, if we think about the Star, there's a bit of darkness there, right? So makes me think of that Nine of Swords energy, where you might not see it yet. I feel like this is saying, well, it is in the near future. So for some of you, might not be there yet. But for this coming up in the near future position, if you're not already there, I feel like this is saying you will be very soon. And this, to me, points to you guys being on the right path. And with the World right beneath that, it's saying that, you're moving toward where you need to be, integrating whatever lessons you needed to learn, having successful completion there. And of course, we do see the fixed energies depicted in the card as well. So this is definitely an indicator that for the majority of you, it will be taking place during Taurus season. So pretty positive energy there. See if anything else comes to mind with this. No, not really. All right. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Death card in reverse. So this is the major arcana card for Scorpio, and like we said, that was one of the dice that came up for you guys. So communication, right? So on the one hand, given that this is in reverse, could just be what I was pointing out to you guys as far as, Mercury retrograde will be happening toward the very end of May. But it'll be in shadow pretty much in the middle of the month. But more than anything, I feel like this is saying a reluctance for you guys to let go of something. Maybe you have your reasons for it. Maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing that you have a reluctance to let go, but that's primarily what I'm seeing there. And for others of you, could even be saying that, you might have made your mind up around something, but it's just a matter of you communicating it. That might be the difficulty right now. So that could be what's holding it up. And again, like I said, especially given that the Death energy is a bit of a darker energy, even though it doesn't necessarily play out that way. Seeing this in the reverse could just be pointing to what I was feeling here as well, where I said, I feel like this is an energy, I feel like at least some of you are moving out of it, but more of an energy of maybe seeing things from a more pessimistic standpoint and actually gradually shifting out of that. In the environment position, we had quite a few cards come up. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. Pretty much the only good way to see that card come up in the spread. The Two of Wands. Oh, this is Aquarius energy too, by the way. Forgot to mention that. Two of Wands, which is Aries energy. Knight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. And Knight of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy. So, interesting mixture here. Now, Five of Swords in reverse is definitely a good thing to see. This could just represent, not involving yourself in things that won't actually benefit you. So for some of you, this can represent someone in your environment, of course, given that this is the environment position. But for a lot of you, I feel like this is really like a solo journey thing for the majority of you. And this is more of, your standpoint towards something. So, all right, let's give it a super generic example, since for you guys, Aquarius is your 6th house. Let's just say you were in a very competitive work environment, right? And this could just be you saying, you know what, it's not worth it, right? Like doing a little bit of a cost benefit and realizing, okay, this is kind of a toxic work environment, right? Everyone's trying to get one up on the other. No one's really into much of a team atmosphere, right? Everyone's just looking out for themselves and that's it. So it could just be saying that you might be deciding that you need to leave that behind, right? You could be thinking about totally new horizons as far as that goes. With the Knight of Swords, I feel like this is saying that once you guys do make your mind up with that, you're actually going to move toward it pretty quickly. And with the Knight of Pentacles, it looks like it's saying that it's actually going to lead you to more stability anyway. So in that regard, it actually kind of makes sense, right? Saying, okay, you might have been in an unstable environment for some time. This is you making the conscious decision that, you know what, I'm not going to deal with that anymore, right? Moving toward your next goal, and in the process finding yourselves, since this is actually the court card for Virgo. So, no real negative way to spin these energies. Let me see what else we got there. Now, I do have to say, too, this card, for me anyway, is infamous for popping up when there is going to be a Mercury retrograde. And like I said, it usually makes sense to me because this is one of the cards ruled by Mercury. And to me, it always stands out that that horse is moving toward the past direction in the spread, right? So it could just be saying that for some of you, it might take this actual Mercury retrograde energy for you guys to actually get back in a rhythm. And if that's the case, obviously that's a positive. And I'm trying to think of... Yeah, it is going to start in Gemini too. So going back to that 10th house theme that we were talking about, that's another thing too. So if there is some instability there, and maybe that's what you guys have been racking your minds around, right? Like, oh, okay, what am I going to do about this? The Mercury retrograde in that regard could actually bring some insights to you guys that could actually bring you some stability when it comes to your career or social status. So that's that. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Wands. So for some of you, this could represent a hope, right? Which is to say that if you do start to get ahead, you hope to be able to defend that position, right? If there is any, competition in that regard. For some of you, this could also be you guys actually, like I was saying, for some of you, where I get that energy that some of you might have been frustrated with yourselves, right? Where, okay, you took the blindfold off, so, oh, okay, things are actually much better than I thought they were. And then kind of kicking yourself for that, right? Like, okay, why did I waste this much time being stuck in my head when things were much better than I thought they were? So for some of you, given that this is Leo energy, which is your 12th house, this would just be you guys actually just hoping to get out of your own heads around the situation. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the 10 of Swords, which is more Gemini energy. So let's look at the positive side of this, which is to say you guys did make that progression. We saw the 8 in the foundation, which says to me that you guys were already there. See the 9, and now we have the 10. So to me, this is going to be what actually will push you guys toward that sun energy. So that's why for the majority of you, like I said, I feel like this is you guys actually getting out of your head around the situation and finally, taking a more light and playful approach towards something. Coming to the realization that you guys are actually on the right path, right? And having a little bit of trust and faith in that. For some of you, of course, it can be a physical ending. Like I mentioned a possible scenario there where, like I said, maybe you've just been in a toxic work environment. You're like, okay, I got to get out of here, right? So could just be pointing to that where some of you might decide to leave a situation. And then if that's the case, like I said, given what we saw after that, looks like there'd be pretty positive and quick forward movement in that front too. See if anything else comes to mind with this. Not really, and I will say for a lot of you, I do feel like this is in some way related to finances for you guys, because at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Swords, which is Libra energy, which for you guys is your second house of finances, and beneath that we actually have the other Venusian energy, the Empress. So yeah, looks like things are definitely going to be improving for you. We see the Six of Wands there too. I'm not going to go through the bottom of the deck all day, but not, trying to downplay what seems to be some dark energies you guys might be in now, but it looks like you guys will be actually moving out of that. So definitely pretty positive there overall. Yeah, let's move on to the Oracle card. So you guys got higher power. There's the artwork, and the number is 4. I feel like you guys might have gotten this last month too. Maybe not. Somebody did, but I feel like it was you guys, but don't quote me on that. I barely remember what I had for lunch today, so. Alright. Under essential meanings, it says conscious contact with a higher power, the presence of the divine, seeing source energy in all things, committing to a partnership with spirit. The Oracle's message. This card reminds you that you are more than a person trying to get ahead and make things happen for yourself and others. You have an immortal soul and are gifted with a human life through which a higher power can express itself. At this time, you need to be conscious of your connection to spirit and foster it through prayer and meditation. Ask, what is the highest good for all? How can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust that there is a plan for your life more wondrous than you can ever know. You are always protected and divinely directed. So pretty positive message there. Talking about getting ahead and, not focusing on that too much. That brings me back to what we were talking about with all the 10th house energy. And like I said, astrologically speaking, between the 10th house and the heaviness in your 6th house, it makes sense if that's where you guys were. No need to kick yourselves for that. But, hopefully you guys got something out of that message there. The relationship message says it's time to address how much effort you give to your relationship with your higher power, called God, Goddess, Spirit, or any other name that is sacred and holy. Recognize that your partnership with Spirit is your number one priority. The appearance of this card also indicates that there is a deep spiritual bond between you and another person who is essential to your growth and evolution. Tend to your spiritual connections and remain aware of your true nature. So pretty positive message there. Like I said, I didn't get a huge romance vibe at any point through this spread, but for those of you looking for that, hopefully that resonated with you. Worst case, I'll be doing the love readings next week, so you could keep an eye out for that. And the prosperity message says, sometimes your work just flows through you, ideas come rushing in, and inspiration bubbles up from a wellspring you didn't even know you could access. When you enter agreements, begin projects, and negotiate deals with Spirit as your partner, you will always succeed. Let your higher power lead. The synchronicities and intuitive nudges you feel will help you see which way you are being pointed, giving you confidence to move forward in the right direction. Don't forget to give credit where it is due. You wouldn't be a success without Spirit's guidance. Humility will serve you well when this symbol appears. So pretty positive message there, and reading that made me think of the fact that I'm pretty sure the new moon in Taurus, a little bit before the middle of May, is actually going to be trine Pluto in your 5th house of creativity. So, if you guys were looking for something there, hopefully that resonates. And lastly, we'll move on to your Mudra card. So this is your Mudra for the month. It's the Kilaka Mudra, and the keyword for it is union. All right. There we go. All right, so yeah, if you want to pause it or take a screenshot, you can, but under benefits, it says tonifies the water elements in body, improves the function of the kidneys, bladder, and sexual organs, fosters a sense of emotional safety and comfort around intimacy and sexuality, Can also be used as a devotional gesture to express or evoke the union of masculine and feminine, so Shiva and Shakti. So if that sounds like something that would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of the mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.